Okay, so we're back for episode 2. Got my coffee, got my brew. I'm ready to do this thing. I'm so grateful for all of your responses on the intro. And in this video, I'm going to be asking for your opinion on something. Hope you stay tuned, settle in, and let's explore the spiritual and the spiritual BS. I'll get right into is what you can expect from these videos. First off, I'm going to aim for the once a week kind of schedule. When I do the deeper dives, which I'll tell you all about my formats in a second, they might take a couple weeks to come out. Then I might do shorter ones in between, which brings me into the formats, which I want to hear in the comments from you on what you want to see and hear from me. It almost rhymes, but you know what I'm saying? So I've got a couple different formats that I want to try and that I'm probably going to rotate through. And so as I do that, I want to hear from you in the comments what you like. So I'm going to do interviews with people who have been in the spiritual world. And guys, let me just introduce myself real quick. I have been dabbling in this world for about the last 8 to 10 years. I've been in groups, I've been in MLMs, I've been in cults, I've been brainwashed, energy healed. I've taken certifications. I've become a life coach and energy healer. I've had amazing mentors and I've had ones who took advantage. What I'm doing now is experimenting. And if you're interested, you're going to join me in the experiment. So let me do my disclaimer first. This is for entertainment, personal, educational purposes. You have to do your own research, make up your own mind. I may use clips from people which are under the fair use, public information. Those will be my resources, which I'll let you know right now. But in each video, I'm going to be Googling things. I'm no librarian here, I'm doing basic research. And mostly what you're going to get is my life story and experiments we do together. And we talk about in the comments, trying this energy tool or that energy tool and sharing our experience. So this is for fun. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional anything. I'm just a girl and I want to explore this with you. We're going to do the principles that I've learned to follow in my journey over the last 8 to 10 years of self-help, which we're putting under the microscope, the old self-help and spirituality. But what I've discovered is curiosity, willingness, letting go, and JFDI, which is just freaking doing it, are the keys to my success. Me, the neurodivergent Patty Dawn, hosting this show. So subscribe, like, do all those YouTubey things, and definitely comment, as I said, to let me know what it is you want to see in here because we're in this together. Because I got really fired up. I mentioned this in the intro. Watched some documentaries. I've watched some on Scientology. I've watched some on Twin Flames Universe, some on the Nexium, this God one, Mother God one. Anyway, a bunch of different culty, the Jonestown, this other one that I can't remember the name of. But anyway, watched a bunch. And what irritates me about them and what finally pushed me forward to do this, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while, really share my opinions on all this and really play with and experiment and investigate all this spirituality stuff. Some people are taking simple concepts and ruining them, brainwashing people, hurting people. But then some people with those same concepts are thriving and changing their life. So how do you, is self-help real? Is it bullshit? What is it? We're going to explore that together. I wanted to let you know my different types of content so you can let me know what you really love. And I'm going to rotate over the next few while we kind of settle into the formats and what's good for me and what's good for you. I need your feedback in the comments. I also need your likes and your subscriptions because that's how this all develops into something rad. In full transparency, I want to turn this into my job and do this full time. I want to make money through sponsorship and through working with great people to really help people. Here we blossom. So yeah, like and subscribe, please, if you actually like it. This is all genuine. Authenticity. That's one of the buzzwords we're going to explore. And that's what I want to be authentic. The different types of content. I'm just looking at my notes here. I made notes. Even though I'm a flighty girl, I made notes. I'm going to do interviews. So I'm really excited for that. Interviews with people who've been in high control groups, people who've been in cults, people who've been in MLMs, which we're maybe going to realize are cults. We're going to explore that topic. But yeah, so I'm going to interview real people to share their story, which leads me to another format. Storytelling. You're going to hear from me, much like you see me talking at you right now. We're going to have some of those. Share something I've learned over this last while in these different groups and spaces and places I've been in about spirituality. And we're going to look at it. I'm going to share with you. We're going to look at it together. We're going to scrutinize it and talk about it. And I'm going to share my stories about it. So it'll be kind of personal story time and investigative stuff. And then the third format is like reactions. We're going to watch maybe clips of other people's things, spiritual group things that they're doing, and then we're going to react to it and we're going to talk about it and we're going to see what we can learn from it. And then we're going to talk about it in the comments together. On those story time video, I have written down like mini dive and deep dive. So I'll do kind of a mini touch on a subject. And then if in the comments of that video, you guys are like, ooh, deep dive on that, here's more questions I have about it, then I do a deep dive. And those are the ones, like I was saying, may take longer to do behind the scenes, but then maybe weekly, I'll keep at least something small in between. I'm just not sure how the pacing is going to work out. And then we're going to dive into a little bit today about the mirror exercise, which I was posting about on my Facebook, getting some opinions from you. It's a TFU, Twin Flames Universa Day thing that I want to talk about because it was one of the fired up ones that really got me doing this, finally taking the leap on this pod and really get into investigating like what's real, because some people love it and some people hate it. And what I discovered on my Facebook, very different opinions in the whole taking responsibility mirror exercise realm. So we're going to talk about that. But I want to scrutinize with you. I want to share some stuff with you and have you guys sort of scrutinize it, try it, and be like, no, this didn't work for me because, right? On this channel and in the comments, what I'm looking for is a scientific almost approach, like an observer, like let's look at this, not be so personally invested in it, but let's really have a look at it and see what could work for us. So we're really opening our minds. We're getting real curious. And this leads me into some buzzwords. Like I'd love to just explore some of the different buzzwords like authenticity, manifesting, divine, destiny, soul's blueprint, enlightenment, raising your vibration. Wrote down some different like being brainwashed, types of healing, chakras, meditation. Like let's explore some of these subjects and see what's real and what's BS. Just being discerning. Like the word discernment is such a buzzword, but like, how do we trust? How do we know? So we're going to figure that out together. Energy healing. Yeah. Right. Like there's so much to look at. So I'm excited that you're here for the ride. So let me know what those kind of things pop out at you. Okay. So we're moving into top. Have a sip of coffee. Let's get right into the mirror exercise. Dun, dun, dun. Twin Flames Universe is a culty little organization, in my opinion, in the opinion of those who have done the documentaries. There's one on Prime and one on Netflix, both of which I've watched. Love them. Totally worth watching. And it will do a way better explaining what I'm about to explain that I'm going to. But from my perspective, here we go. These two people, Jeff and Shalia, they get together and they create this group and they're all about twin flames, which is a concept I want you to let me know in the comments how you feel about. In my opinion, after I explain this little backstory. So they started this thing called Twin Flame Universe, and it's a community, a coaching community where they tell you things like you're going to learn about self-love and loving yourself so deeply that you attract this love that you desire, because they're speaking to people who haven't been able to find that true love relationship and they've found it. And so they've started this community and they have these rules as to how you get what they have. And they just keep telling you what they have is this twin flame relationship that is what everyone should want because it's the ultimate key to happiness in your life. And their main tool for people, as far as I can tell from these documentaries, I'm not in their group. I've never been in the group. I've never been coached by them. So take this with a grain of salt, just use my intuition, see what I've seen. They tell people that this mirror exercise that they have is the key to unlocking this, right? It's the key to happiness. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of concepts like energy pulling and our energetic interactions with other people and having kind of taking responsibility and blah, blah, blah. And they point out that the people around us and the experiences around us are reflections, mirrors, if you will, or mimic, reflecting back to us what we have going on inside, what our soul is playing with inside our body, which is another concept we need to explore. Soul. Have we got a soul? Physical, soul, the whole thing. Anyways, so Jeff and Shalia tell people that everyone around them is a mirror and that their twin flame is the biggest and bestest mirror of all. I'll get you to the heart of everything, getting you the life of your dreams, where they then go ahead and flash all their amazing millions of dollars and whatever, and how it's proof, the things that they have and the way they feel about each other is proof that they're right. And this is, if you want that, this is what you do, the mirror exercise. And you love yourself so much that you become a magnet, which, dudes, this is what gets me so fired up because I have said things like that. The other thing about Jeff that really pisses me off is he uses the word juicy. He ruined juicy for me. I used to say juicy all the time. I thought it was a juicy, fun little word. And he ruined it. Now all I think of is him. Anyway, so their juicy little concept is that loving yourself brings this magnetism to the rest of the world too. I get it. I get why they tote that. But I think where they go wrong, you know, in the comments where you think they go wrong, they think their truth is so it and linear and it's this one way. And if you just do this and everybody does this, it's going to work. I think that might be where things go sideways. Okay. Yeah. This is a few days later and I'm continuing the story. First things first, let's tell the story of what Twin Flames universe is. It was started by Jeff and Shalia, two random people who met and fell in love. They have beliefs about what a twin flame is. So let's talk about that real quick. They believe a twin flame is a soul that's split in two and came to Earth incarnated in two human bodies, one of which shows up as a female and is feminine, and the other one shows up as a male and is masculine. It gets a little crazy in their group later, but I think I'll tell that part when we get to it. So they fall in love and they're so in love that they believe it's a twin flame love. This two souls, or the one soul that split apart and then came down to find itself. They found itself, each other, the twin flame thing. So background, just real quick. This is all what I saw in the documentaries. Shalea, her name is Megan, got all involved in spirituality.
Needed this podcast, which wasn't available when that happened to her, but this is why I'm doing the podcast because this is the kind of stuff that happens.
That gal, she had wounding and she got all spiritual and people told her some things and she was really holding on to those things about the souls and all of this, right? She meets this guy, Jeff, and he's got his own wounding, maybe some desperation. He wants to be wealthy. He wants to be famous. He wants to do something grand. Right. And who knows what went on in his childhood, where the wounds would be, because, you know, we'd have to dive in to find that out. We don't know that. But this is what I'm speculating from what I saw. She's got this spiritual knowledge that he thinks is real cool because along his journey, he's, you know, had to find himself and is curious about that stuff. And he wants to monetize it. So they come together, they fall in love, and they're like, wow, this feels magical. And everywhere online right now is talking about coaching programs. We can monetize this. And so they decide we're going to write a book about our love and what a twin flame is and how to have the happiest life. Because again, their belief on a twin flame is that if this one soul finds its perfect mate, other half, and you come together, it's going to be the craziest ride, but the best life, like the life you came here to live. Because they believe they have that, they are compelled to share it with others and it's going to make them all kinds of money, right? Jeff is like, ooh, this is the thing. And if I do this, this is what's going to happen. So they write a book and they start a group and they start telling everyone,
this is what you need to change your life.
and so lots of people are talking about it. Lots of people want that. I know myself at different times in my life, I've been lonely and misunderstood. And I too have had the wounding of abandonment and things that I'm suspecting, although not confirmed, that they probably had, that made them overlook and not check themselves before they wreck themselves as they were moving forward with this group. And so they start a group, they bring people in, they're teaching them things. And what they've decided is that there's this one tool called the mirror exercise, which in itself might not be so bad. And I'll explain that to you in 1 second so you can decide for yourself. But the problem is, as this group grows and they get more and more famous and make more and more money real quickly, without, I guess, really maybe having addressed that wounding, they have to keep doubling down and making what they're doing better and more exciting. And they're not really getting the results. And I think this is where the desperation amps up. So they already had desperate wounding, right? Of rejection and wanting and longing and whatever. And now what they're sharing isn't actually working. The people in their group are not finding their twin flames. As a matter of fact, when you watch the docuseries, these people are struggling more than ever. They love the idea, but it's not working. So they keep asking, how do we this? Why isn't this? Blah, blah, blah. Right. And these two over here, desperate to keep this eggshell, because that's strong, keep this glass house growing and not breaking as it cracks, they keep doubling down and they say, well, it's this and well, it's that. Keep doing this. Fast forward, everyone in the group is mirroring everything and are actually going into shame spirals, right? About how they're not good enough for anything and they can't do anything. They're trying to offer them solutions and saying, well,
Wow, we're amazing. All our wealth is proof that we're amazing. So you've got to do what we say so you can have what we have.
and what we say is, that's your partner, that's your partner, that's your partner. And they even start switching people's genders. They're looking at women who identify as female and saying, no, you're actually masculine. And they just believe it's you're only one or the other. They say, because you look typically female, you're in this body that has female parts, you're actually masculine. And to make it work, you got to be in a masculine body. You got to dress masculine. He says things like own it or whatever, right? Change your name, change your body, change what you're wearing, own that masculinity. And then on the same side, the other person has to own the womanness. And that femininity is like wearing lipstick and dresses.
Please hang up and try again.
Which is bullshit. It's not that at all. You know that, and I know that, but they don't know that and they're desperate. So by doing it this way, they get to take over more control of people's minds, right? These people are like, okay, I've been at this for a while. It's not working, but it works for them. What else have they got? Okay, I'll try that. And it's like desperation meets desperation and locks on like a magnet. They're like magnetized together, which is interesting. So that's why it's a recipe for disaster, because now nobody knows what is going on. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the mirror exercise according to Jeff and Shalea by using their website so that we can see exactly what they're talking about. Let's talk about the mirror exercise. So this is Jeff and Shalea. Hello. And the mirror exercise. So it's covered in their book, of course, Twin Flames, Find Your Ultimate Lover. So they want to help people find their ultimate lover. It's so crazy. Just because we do what we think is something, find your ultimate lover or whatever, doesn't mean we can just take on hundreds of people to do that too. Taught throughout the entire body of work, the mirror exercise is their most powerful spiritual tool for self-transformation. I love me some self-transformation. So I want that to be true. And why did it hurt so many people? Here we go. So, what is the mirror exercise exactly? It's based on the principle that your entire external reality is a reflection mirror of your inner world. Interesting. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Is it true? Everything in your outer world is a reflection of the inner world? Should I give you my opinion later? I'll give you my opinion later. Therefore, they say you are only ever experiencing whatever is within you. When an upset arises, it's pointing towards the place within your consciousness that is asking for love. Interesting. So they're also saying the solution to everything is love. I should have an opinion on that as well. Okay. So stay to the end for my opinions if you dare. And let me know yours in the comments, respectfully and nicely with everyone. Okay. So it means that no one has the power to take away your peace or good feelings. The mirror exercise allows you to do just that, heal yourself and feel better. While it works, even if used just once, applying this tool diligently, interesting. According to the people in their group in the documentary, their ex-members, it just became mirroring everything, which became a shame spiral of it. But anyway. Since the journey of the twin flame is the awakening of your divine self, this means you need to rediscover who you are. I'm just going to talk about that for one little second. Maybe here's where I'll insert some of my opinions. Okay. Yes, you are a soul. Like I said already, having a human experience, although you in this body are a mix of all the things. And your energy does interact with others to participate in the journey of life. And yes, I believe the inner world does reflect in the outer world, but there isn't one tool, one soul that's going to flip the switch on everything and change your life. There are a number of things, multiple things go down to mesh together to make your life. This is an ecosystem. It's not one thing. You don't just breathe to live. You have to breathe. Your heart has to pump, right? The brain has to stay functioning. Like there's multiple things that go on to create the journey. So it isn't one other soul and one mirror exercise that's going to make it all happen, right? But it's that desperation, I think, is a big piece. Guilt, shame, desperation. I got a few things that I think push people into looking for that one thing or key to fixing themselves. I know because I did it too. And that's why we get stuck in cults because we're chasing that one thing. It's like chasing the lottery. I agree with them in personal work and transformation. That inner work is going to really change your outer world and, yes, bring you money and abundance of all kinds, prosperity and health and love, all of it. Yeah, but it's not one thing. And I think that's where they go wrong. But let's see. Let's see what you think of the exercise. Let's move forward. Patricia, let's go. Let's not over explain each piece. Okay. Next, we have here, how does it work? So the next piece, the mirror exercise is 4 simple steps. First step, you identify your external reality that's upsetting you. Step 2, feel into the situation, realizing that your external reality is reflecting your inner state. Thirdly, connect with the upset feeling. And the fourth, I'm reading the highlighted parts, heal the upset pattern permanently by loving yourself. Oh, I love me some self-love. And you'll see here they have a YouTube channel, which is crazy. And they have guests on there who show all their examples of stuff. What they're saying is everything is healable with the mirror exercise. Everything is healable with the mirror exercise. And as you heal these upsets, you'll get closer to your twin flame. And I believe that they talk about in the group. It doesn't mean you actually are physically with them now necessarily. You can do this and magnetize them to you. And if you are in a relationship with them now, the relationship is going to be so challenging because they're your ultimate soul reflection. So it's going to be really tumultuous. So doing the mirror exercise will make it a loving, harmonious, I believe the word they use is, situation. So let's start, they say. So let me get the next clip up here. Okay. So steps to the mirror exercise. Step 1, identify the upset in a concise sentence. Boil it down. I do this in my work too, which is kind of funny. Who are you upset with? What are you upset about and why? For example, I'm upset with my twin flame because I feel rejected by them because they're ignoring me. Step 2, invert all the pronouns to point to yourself. So I'm upset with myself because I feel I am rejecting myself and ignoring myself. See how they did that? Step 3, ask yourself whether this is true. The answer is yes. It's always true because you can only experience a pattern that is within you. Interesting. What do you guys think about that? Is this true? Now, what I love, what they've kind of convoluted here about energy work, that's kind of cool. I mean, not cool that they convoluted it, but how they were on a partial thread. And this is how intuition is. If you don't stay in that curiosity and that willingness and that observer, you'll latch on to little hints that you're getting intuitively and you'll turn them into big things that are actually harmful instead of helpful. Loosely, though, these concepts are something you can play with. For example, looking at your external world and going, what's reflecting back that I might be feeling inside? Do I feel ignored by people? Do I have abandonment wounds? And if so, how can I stop ignoring myself? I love that. Those are great questions. I have some processes I do with my people to help this exactly. But to say that it's always going to be that simple statement is going to be the most true thing is, I think, a lie, not true. If you just latch onto that and run with it, you start creating a story that actually can continue to traumatize you and layer more on top instead of getting to the root of the problem like they think they're doing. They get you to look at the example answer here as, yes, it's true, because they're saying it's always going to be true. So what makes it true is what they're getting you to explore here. I don't acknowledge my feelings and I ignore and reject my own boundaries. I don't feel like I'm good enough to be loved, so I ignore my needs and I don't nurture myself. And yes, some self-talk might reveal some of these things in your subconscious that you think. And it's great to uncover them. They really oversimplified this here. But anyway, step 4, once you've identified this place within you, you ask what it needs to feel fully loved right now. And so again, you have this conversation with self and you give yourself space to receive the answer. Once you know the answer, you give yourself the thing. So if you hear, I need to drink more water, you drink more water, blah, blah, blah. There it is. And so then they finish by saying practice makes it master. And so they go through some examples on their website there of like different ways you could use this, different situations, and to follow these 4 steps. This has helped some people and has hurt some people. Why do you think that is? Do I think it is? I think because when you put all your eggs in one basket, you end up over consuming that one thing. So as people, it seemed like a great idea. And as they took it out into the world, it was helping to a point. The problem was people weren't moving forward. They were just continuously trying to mirror everything in their lives to fix it instead of using any kind of real accountability to change their actions. Because yes, you want to look at the things that the limiting beliefs that you created early on in your life and see if they're serving the now. And you literally can reprogram them in your subconscious. Absolutely. And I love that. But you have to take inspired action in your life other than just journaling. You can't just sit at home, journal everything, do this exercise over and over again, this energetic exercise over and over and over again, and expect it to completely change your life. It won't. You are an ecosystem. Yes, you are a soul in the body, and that's a huge part of what's going on. And yes, you want to talk to the parts of your brain, the subconscious that are holding on to things you don't want, but there's so much more you need to do. You need to nourish your body. You need to talk to your body. You need to move your body. You need to clear your mind sometimes, right? It's not just about talking to yourself. You also need to sit quiet and learn how to do that. You're an ecosystem. You don't just need water or a mirror exercise. You also need breath. You also need blood, right? You need to look at your thought forms. You need to look at your mindsets and shift through different ones. You need to understand the motivations in your life and start to see what really moves and empowers you, not just do one exercise. Which brings me to my question on my Facebook and asking people, and I should bring up the question specifically, how I worded it, and you guys can let me know in the comments what your take is on it, because I had pretty different results and I found it really freaking interesting. So my question was, have you ever been told to take responsibility for your life and the circumstances you're experiencing? And did that help or harm you? And have you tried the mirror exercise? So back in the day, one of the coaching programs I was in, the lady used the word radical responsibility a lot. And I loved it. And actually, I think I heard it once before her as well. And I thought it was the coolest thing because it gave me all this power to really use choice as a way to manipulate the things I was experiencing. And I thought that was really cool and empowering. But on the same turn, people hearing those same words have gone a totally different direction. There are multiple directions. I know your direction where they're like, they take on blame and shame and they go, well, then that means the bad things that have happened to me mean that I'm bad and that I've caused them and that makes me awful. Whereas on the other hand, someone like me was like, okay, if I'm responsible, I get to change them and I no longer have to experience them. And that maybe there was something good about them happening. So is there a neurodivergence, just being different, neurotypical, neurodivergent, divergent in different ways that gives us that initial perspective? I don't know what you guys think. And what hits you? Take responsibility, radical responsibility. Does that feel good or bad? And why? So if I use myself as the example for now for our experiment, and I say taking radical responsibility, the ways that it has been really great for me is feeling like I had a say. Because back in the day, when I was really, really depressed, there was a time where I couldn't even get out of bed. I ended up seeing a doctor like every day. I had to go on a bunch of medication and it was rough. And in that time, I thought the feelings I was feeling were in charge. They were the realness. And then I went to some cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and I learned that feelings were chemicals in here. And that if I could see that I could take responsibility for what was happening instead of just following along with these emotions were telling me, that I could have an effect on my life because I felt helpless before that. That's the word. Like I felt things happen to me and I had no say. This taking of responsibility was like they were gifting me with this power of like, those are just experiences. Like you have a say in this whole thing. Okay. Let's circle back to mirror exercise and things that haven't been so great for me. When I've spiraled down in a hole going, well, everything's my fault. I'm the worst. This means I suck. And I easily defaulted to shame and guilt. I was taught early on about that. I'm terrible if bad things are happening, I'm bad. It was like this equaling out thing. And maybe it's the same kind of thinking that got us into calories in, calorie out equals a thin body, which we have since proved is not true, right? There's so many other factors, hormones, genetics, etc. So taking responsibility leaves us where? How do we do it healthily? And where can it spiral us into a dark cloud of depression where we dog on ourselves? One of the things for me that kind of comes forward as an answer is my relationship with self and my self talk. And what I like about the mirror exercise is how it gets you to talk to yourself, which is basically what I use the tarot cards for. And what I encourage my students to do is play in that conversation with self. Because I feel like when it comes to self help, that's what's self helpful is talking to self, understanding the voices in here, right? And knowing that the emotions are just chemicals, they aren't the truth. Being able to sit and converse with self, I think, is the great thing. I think where it can turn dark, and let me know what you guys think in the comments because I want to wrap this up now, but where you put judgment on the results and the blame. And does that come from the all or nothing thinking? Because I was in that for a while. I do want to talk about some mindsets with you in a video because I got some cool ones to assess and we can kind of look at how you get in and out of different mindsets. I think that'd be a really cool conversation. But yeah, bringing it all home. Let me know what you think of the mirror exercise. Let me know where taking responsibility has been good or bad. And I will continue to converse with you in the comments and give more of my opinion. But I think that even that, really falling into that to the nth degree, is where it becomes unhealthy. And life is so much more nuanced than that. And for me, part of healing, curing that depression, as I talked about, was getting out of the black or white thinking, that all or nothing thinking that it's this or it's that, and really making the marriage of the things. And that sometimes it's a reflection. And maybe sometimes it's an inspiration or an answer to a question. We'll see. So let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like so we can keep this going. What has perplexed your mind? What's taking you over? What groups have you been in that we need to investigate? And let's go down the rabbit holes of spirituality, BS, and call out liar, liar, pants on fire where we need to. I want to empower you and inspire you, yes, to do the self-help, but not to get in these shame spirals and to really let go of the desperation, become a leader who is empowering others and not creating cult-like environments. I know it's possible. Together, we're going to figure out how to do it. Okay. Ciao for now. I'll see you, like I said, probably in a week. We're trying out the formats. We're trying out the pacing of things. And together, we're going to have a real good time.